You think you know the story, right? 7 days, a garden, an apple. But behind that story, the one you were probably told in Sunday school, there's another one. It's darker, it's way stranger, and it's a far more ancient narrative. So today, we are not just reading Genesis. We're going to decode its forbidden origins. What if the story that we've all been told for like 2,000 years is only half the truth? Seriously, what if behind all those familiar tales of Adam and Eve, there's a hidden story of a cosmic war, a divine conspiracy, and a secret about human potential so dangerous it had to be buried? Because here's the thing, the most famous creation story ever told doesn't actually begin with "let there be light." No, it begins with darkness, a formless void, a primordial, chaotic deep. That's the real beginning, and that is exactly where our investigation starts right now. Okay, so let's rewind. Let's go all the way back before day one, because the text of Genesis, when you really look at it, paints a picture of reality that's less like some divine blueprint and a whole lot more like a scene from a cosmic horror story. I mean, just look at the language here, without form and void. This isn't just empty space we're talking about. This is an active, chaotic nothingness. And then you have the deep, this raging, watery abyss that's just shrouded in total darkness. This is not a peaceful beginning. This is a universe that God has to literally conquer before creation can even get started. So out of all that primordial chaos, a perfect world is forged. And right at its heart, there's a garden. But here's the twist. Eden wasn't just a paradise. It was a laboratory. It was the stage for a really high-stakes psychological experiment. And the future of an entire species was hanging in the balance. The setup itself is deceptively simple. You've got this perfect environment, right? But with two very special, very mysterious trees planted right in the middle. And then there's the rule, a single prohibition that kicks the entire story into motion. And this is where it starts to get really interesting. Just look at the choice they're given. You have the tree of life, which offers eternal life. Simple enough. The punishment for eating from it? Well, the text is strangely silent on that. But then you have the tree of knowledge. And the prize? It's unbelievable. You get to be like God. The catch? The price is absolute, and it is final. And let's be clear, this is not a friendly suggestion, it is a divine threat. You shall surely die. The one and only rule in this paradise is tied to certain annihilation. The stakes could not be higher. But then, something else slithers into the garden. This is the catalyst for everything that happens next, the serpent. And you really have to forget that cartoonish image. The text describes this being as something totally unique, something far more intelligent than anything else God had made. And check this out. In the original Hebrew, the word that's translated as crafty can also mean prudent or even sensible. So this isn't really about being sneaky. It actually implies a really high level of intelligence. The serpent isn't here to lie. It's here to debate. It's here to present a counter-argument to God himself. And just listen to its claim. It directly contradicts God's warning. It says, "You will not surely die." And instead, it offers a secret. God's rule isn't for your protection. It's to keep you from reaching your full potential, from becoming his equal. It's a tempting thought for sure, but it has to be a lie, right? And this is the exact moment where the entire traditional story gets completely flipped on its head. Because after they eat the fruit, after the fall, after all the finger-pointing is done, God himself shows up. And what he says is, well, it's absolutely mind-blowing. Whoa, wait. Did you catch that? God himself confirms it. He says, the man has become like one of us. The serpent's core claim was actually true. Their eyes were opened. They did gain divine knowledge. The serpent didn't lie. It revealed a forbidden truth. Sure, the price was death, but the prize was real. So humanity now possesses forbidden knowledge. And if you think that's where the story gets weird, you have seen nothing yet. We are about to jump ahead to chapter 6, into one of the most bizarre and controversial passages in the entire Bible. By the way, if you're fascinated by ancient mysteries like this, do us a favor and hit that like button, and let us know in the comments what we should investigate next. Now, let's talk about the giants. You really have to read that again to let it sink in. The sons of God came into the daughters of man, and they bore children to them. Divine beings, whoever they were, maybe angels, maybe some other celestial race, they were procreating with humans. The text is completely unambiguous about this. And their children,
Well, they were something else entirely.
They were called the Nephilim. The text describes them as these mighty heroes, these legendary figures of the ancient world. But this word, Nephilim, it's incredibly rare and it's super mysterious. So what does it actually mean? Well, this is where you have to look down at the footnotes. Because the English Standard Version itself, the text we're using, it offers another possible translation for Nephilim. It's one word, giants. The text is telling us that in those days, the earth was roamed by a race of human-angel hybrids, a world of giants, and things were about to get very, very bad. So this strange new world, populated by humans, divine beings, and their giant offspring, it just quickly spirals completely out of control. The whole experiment had gone horribly, horribly wrong.
And the text is just brutal in its assessment here. The corruption wasn't just, some bad behavior. It was total. Every single intention of every single thought was only evil continually. It's like humanity's source code was corrupted, and a hard reset was the only solution left on the table. And so the verdict comes down from on high, and it is absolute. Not correction, not punishment. Eradication. I will blot out man. A total system wipe designed to return the world to the very same watery chaos it all started in.
So humanity has been judged. The verdict is annihilation. The only question left is, how do you reset an entire world? How do you press delete on a global scale? The answer is coming, and it involves an ancient survival thriller, a man named Noah, and a storm that is going to drown the entire planet. And we will cover all of that in our next explainer.